Welcome back to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is Q, guys, and today I would like to share with you my next reason why I'm leaving the United Snakes of America, man. It's the perceived authority that white people seem to think that they have over black people, man. It's crazy to me, and unfortunately, guys, it starts with the government, okay? Yesterday on the national news, on CNN, in response to something that former President Obama said, Mitch McConnell said that he just needs to shut his mouth. A United States senator who's white on national television, his message to the American public was that he had the authority and the right to tell a former black president that he needs to shut his mouth. And that's the mentality of white people in America. And that's the mentality of white people in America. And it started with the President Trump situation. White people got real brave in America, man. Shit started happening that had kind of went away, but not really. And the thing that gets me most is we're already dealing with the police. These white racist police, okay? But one thing about the police, guys, when they stop us, they have to have a legal reason. When they detain us, they have to have a legal reason, and they have to tell us what that is, or they have to let us go. If they don't, and our rights have been violated, we can get an attorney, we can go to court, and we can possibly take action against that department for being illegally detained. What is our recourse against white people who feel that they have the right to approach us, question us, ask us who we are, why we're there, detain us, and have killed us? What is our recourse? Are you telling me that these white people have more authority than the police? The police have to tell us why they are detaining us. And if it's not a legal reason, if they detain us illegally, we have some recourse against them. You telling me that white people have more rights, authority than the police, that they can approach us, stop us, question us, detain us, and we're supposed to comply with them, okay? And often they have killed us. So guys, I'm not gonna take too much of your time, but I'm just gonna go over some things, encounters. Well, ladies, I couldn't even write them down. This video would be hours and hours long. So there was a Yale student in 2018 sleeping in a common area, and a white student called the police on her. Like, she's a student there and she knows every student there, and just because she never saw this black person before, her action was to call the police. And guys, the reason I'm bringing this up, many of these encounters with the police have left the people being beat up, arrested, and died. Several black people, guys, several black people, to include women with children, have had the police called on them. Residents of the place where they were, where there was a pool, felt like it was their responsibility to verify who those people were, see their apartment keys, see their passes to everything, to verify that they had authority to be there. And once again, multiple times of this, the cops were called. A 12-year-old boy in Ohio who had a lawnmower, who was cutting grass for one of his customers, the police were called for this young man out there. Like, this young man is cutting grass so that he can stage a robbery later. This is just a front. I'm using this lawnmower And after I robbed this house, I got to get away with the goods and the lawnmower. Black man barbecuing at the park. White lady, guess she didn't want to smell the smoke. Maybe she was hungry. Oakland, California, called the police. Y'all remember Permit Patty? She was the white lady in San Francisco who called the police on an 8-year-old girl selling bottles of water. Guys, we have all saw the multiple hundreds, not hundreds, but guys, there's been quite a few videos of black people being mistreated in Waffle House. Why black people still go to Waffle House? I don't understand, man. When you call the police on someone, the police should come there in the situation. The police immediately come there and start beating people up. Ladies and gentlemen, multiple. Starbucks, guys. 2 black men in Starbucks in Philadelphia. The clerk there that was white called the police on them because when they came in, they sat down and didn't immediately order a beverage. Apparently, they were entrepreneurs and they were waiting on some clients or some friends so that they could all order together. And Starbucks stepped up in that case, guys. They filed a suit and each one of those guys agreed to $1. Instead, they rather have some programs set up to help the youth. And Starbucks closed all their stores for an entire day to give their staff training. You mean to tell me in 2019, you have to close all your stores and give people training on that you should treat black people like you treat everybody else? A black boy in Detroit, Michigan, who missed his school bus and was walking to school and got lost. He knocked on the door of a family in an area he didn't know, and he got shot at. Okay, a white woman, man, there's just so many. I'm gonna skip that one because it's totally, I'm not gonna skip it because there is a video out there of a white woman just harassing 2 black women who were standing out in an apartment complex. She was questioning who they were. And her biggest thing was to say that she's white and she's beautiful. And she went in on them. Y'all remember golf cart Gail, who stopped at the park? There was a man having a conversation with his son. She engaged him. The man decided, okay, he told her, this isn't your business. This is my son. Finally, he decides, I'm leaving. And this lady still called the police on him as he was leaving. And of course, he had to deal with the police. Another pool incident, a property manager called the police on a young man who was sitting on the edge of the pool, and he had his feet hanging in the pool, and he had on some little socks, footies. She asked him not to do it. He's claiming that you have to have on proper pool attire, and she called the police on him for that, which is not a crime. And of course, she got fired from her job, okay? 2 black men going into a house. One of them was a professor. He had luggage, called the police. They determined he was a professor. Boom. Black man with 2 white kids. He was babysitting for that mother. The mother knew he had them. The kids didn't appear to be under any type of distress. Okay, guys, I'm back, and excuse my appearance because I'm in the yard today, and guys, it's sunny out here, and even though I'm a light-skinned black guy, I burn up like anybody else. So basically, I'm gonna finish up this story about this black man with the 2 white kids leaving Walmart. Okay, so they are leaving Walmart, casually walking, have their beverages or whatever they have, And this white lady observed them, and she said it was something strange about that. In America, where we have interracial relationships, where we have white people who adopt black kids, Asian kids, it's a mix. So she thought something was strange, and she called the police, and she followed them and had 911 on. And the police came and took over the pursuit. And there was a real hardcore investigation where he didn't just pull up, say hi to the gentleman, stop him. They actually got the kids out the car. The kids didn't seem happy to see the police. They were afraid. But guys, it's just crazy. There's another situation at Smith College where employee called the police on a student that they didn't recognize. Like, a student or a faculty member of a college, if they don't recognize a person who's just not breaking the law, they're sitting there having lunch, they think the appropriate thing to do is to call the police because that person was black. Now, this one here, guys, bothered me a lot. Who remembers the story about a lady called Corner Store Carolyn? And what she did was she called the police on a 9-year-old black boy, and she accused him of sexual assault. The mother was like, no, my child would never do nothing like that. He was a kid, had a school clothes backpack, looked like a good kid, 9 years old. So the police came, did their investigation, went inside the store, watched the camera. And although the lady realized what happened and she saw what happened when it happened, she still called the police and accused that young man of groping her. So what happened was she was bent over with her butt stuck up in the air, all in the aisle. And when that young man walked by her, his backpack brushed up against her butt. As that happened, she looked right back at him and saw that it was his backpack. He was not looking at her. His hands were like to his side, like they normally would be when you're walking, not facing someone. And she saw it was his backpack, and she called the police on that young man, 9 years old. And we all know what happens when the police come in. If those weren't some halfway honest dudes, guess what? The mama would be in jail. The little boy would be, guys, there was a state rep, or Oregon lawmaker in her area, walking around, knocking on doors, leaving people notes. She was dressed nice, and a white lady in the community called the police on her because she thought she was casing the neighborhood to come back later and rob it. Guys, it's just so many things. Brooklyn Betty, okay? Brooklyn Betty is the white lady who called the police on a young lady who was standing outside her building waiting on her Uber ride. She was questioning that young lady about why she was standing there, and as she was on the phone with the 911 caller, she was being disrespectful, agitating this lady, talking about this lady, making fun of her, and it was horrible. Multiple Airbnb situations where they called the police. Now, let me tell you something, guys. If someone is using their home or their apartment for Airbnb, you are aware, because you see people coming and going all the time with luggage. What do people do? What do people have when they're traveling? They have luggage, right? You know what that means. And multiple black people have had the police called on them when they were checking into their Airbnb. This last one, guys, is almost on the side of law enforcement, but not quite. School resource officers, guys. We have seen these horrible people handle our children in a way that children should not be handled. Now, we all know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe, share if you like. Please leave some comments. Thank you very much for your time.